Hawaii's news.
One of the state's largest insurance companies is getting out of the business and says Hurricane Iniki is to blame.
Live, News 4 at 10 with Dan Cook and Paula Akana.
Good evening, and thanks very much for joining us for News 4 on this Thursday night. Hawaiian Insurance Group says the latest estimates of claims from Hurricane Iniki was enough to break the bank.
The company says it now estimates it will pay out about $300 million in claims due to Iniki. So effective today, Hawaiian Insurance Group will not issue new policies nor renew existing ones. The $300 million figure is $100 million more in claims than the Hawaiian Insurance Group estimated just a few weeks ago. And the figure could get even higher.
Comes a point where how far can you go to support that type of loss.
Adam says the 77-year-old company, which is owned by Hawaiian Electric Industries, will continue to pay its Iniki claims.
We have assets. We have $200 and some million in cash and marketable securities, plus about another $150 million in reinsurance recoverables. So we're liquid, and we're going to continue to pay claims at this point.
State Insurance Commissioner Linda Chu Takayama says their chief field examiner will go over HIG's books to verify the figures. He will also be looking at how other Hawaii insurance companies are being affected by Iniki.
But what we're planning to do is to have our examiners go in and take a look at all of our companies that are writing homeowners insurance to assure ourselves that we don't have another HIG.
The remaining insurance companies could feel the Iniki pinch anyway. Reinsurance is basically catastrophic insurance that insurance companies purchase. The reinsurers have paid out billions in claims in the aftermath of Hurricanes Andrew and Iniki, and many are raising their premiums by as much as 150%. Those in the industry say Hawaii residents could see an increase in the cost of their premiums and a decrease in their availability. As for HIG's 231 employees, the first employees could be let go within the next few days. Adam says they do plan to keep a core group of employees around to keep the company running so they can service claims and the existing policies. The island of Kauai just can't seem to get a break from the bad weather. Heavy showers there throughout the day are starting to take their toll. Dan Cook is at the News 4 Weather Central right now. Dan?
Paula, it is starting to flood there on the island of Kauai, and it's this very northernmost tip. You can see we've colored it with the orange there, and that's why there's a flash flood warning in effect for these areas, Princeville, Hanalei, and Haina. Now, the rain in the spots where the gauges are, not quite coming down an inch an hour, but it is coming down heavy, and it has been steadily all day, and that's why the flooding has become a problem. The Belt Road there is impassable, and the bridge at Honolulu, of course, has overflowed, and there is no way you can get through that area. We've heard in the last hour that Anahola area is starting to see the water come up, and they've opened up a shelter, the Red Cross has, at the Anahola Elementary School. We don't really have any word if anyone is evacuated, but it is there in case that should become necessary. The rain continues to be steady there, and it's because of a low-pressure trough and a developing low just west of the island of Kauai. You can see the heavy, darker clouds there. That's the heavier showers, and that is why the heavy showers have come, and that's why there is a flash flood warning in effect for those areas. We'll have more on that and all of our weather for Hawaii a little later in this newscast. Paula?
All right, thanks, Dan. The United Nations Security Council today gave the okay to the world's biggest armed humanitarian relief operation. The Somalia relief effort will be the largest U.S. military deployment since the Gulf War. About 28,000 U.S. troops are on standby to make sure international food shipments get through to the starving Somalis. Officials say 80% of those supplies have been stolen by roving bands of armed gangs. There is no government in Somalia, just a number of warlords who control certain areas. The first U.S. forces to go into Somalia will be 1,800 Marines aboard the amphibious assault ship, the USS Tripoli. The ship is poised right now off the coast of Somalia. They will be followed up by some 16,000 Marines from the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force at Camp Pendleton. About 10,000 soldiers from Fort Drum, New York, will make up the second wave of the humanitarian mission. The White House says President Bush hopes to have the troops home by January 20th. That's the day he leaves office.
Two state judges said today that some drug offenders are treated unfairly by the court system. Those judges say that all too often they send people to prison when some of them should be put into drug programs instead. News 4's Daryl Huff has more on the judges' appeal for the right to use their discretion in sentencing.
With prisons overcrowded and court dockets months behind schedule, House Judiciary Chairman Terrence Tom is considering rewriting many of our criminal laws, like mandatory 20-year sentences now required for the most serious crimes.
When all discretion is taken away, there's no exercise of judgment anymore, and that's what our whole function is.
Although they emphasize violent criminals must still be locked up, Milks and Judge Leland Spencer say they've each handed down 20-year sentences for drug offenses, sentences they considered unjust.
And in the vast majority of cases, the defendants who appear before me, but for their drug problem, are very decent people.
And the prison is simply a holding facility, and the person's going to walk out again with the very same problem they had when they went in. I think more money ought to be put into drug programs.
I'm not making any statement excusing their criminal conduct, but it is unfortunate if you can't deal with them appropriately.
Long prison sentences are often reduced by the paroling authority. One representative defended that system.
The judges have some contact with the criminals when they are before you and from the documents you receive. The paroling authority, however, has the most constant level of contact.
Some members of the legislature see an end to mandatory sentencing as one way to end prison overcrowding, but Terrence Tom says that's not his motivation.
What I want to ensure is that justice is applied fairly across the board, and that at the same time our public safety is protected.
The judges told Tom they would still be tough on most criminals, whether or not the legislature required it. Daryl Huff, News 4, State Capitol.
Aloha Stadium manager Ken Kiabu is taking vacation time while an investigation has begun into allegations that he engaged in unlawful non-bid contract procedures for a stadium office project. Kiabu spoke to the media today about the matter for the first time. He told News 4 it was a small refurbishing job that he got done under severe time constraints and for much less money than if he had opened it up for bids. Kiabu is alleged to have broken down the $50,000 painting and recarpeting job into small increments to avoid the state's required bid process. Kiabu says nobody was trying to cheat anyone and that neither he nor anyone on the stadium authority profited from the situation. Kiabu said that while on vacation, he will continue to cooperate with the state comptroller's investigation into that situation. And just ahead tonight on News 4, millions of gallons of oil are spilled when a Greek tanker runs aground off the coast of Spain.
And an alleged $20,000 theft by a Honolulu police officer is linked to a drug case that was never prosecuted.
From the moment you enter Waimea Falls Park, you'll know. Here is the beauty of a lush valley where the call of the thrush and the wind whispering through the trees greets the morning sun. A guest hits the mark at the Hawaiian game site. In the upper valley, you may hear the roar of Waimea Falls and watch with fascination as cliff divers make the thrilling leap into the pool below. Waimea Falls Park, all the magnificence of Hawaii here on Oahu's North Shore.
To make sure the Saturn would make it through anything anyone might do with a car, we considered what would happen if you found yourself in the Amazon in August, or went camping in the Sahara and forgot your tent. What if you stayed in Bombay through monsoon season? We even considered what would happen if you drove your Saturn to the nearest Dixie Mart to get some cherry vanilla ice cream.
Where can you find a great selection of gifts always at good prices? The answer is GEM. 5 convenient locations: Kapalama, Ward Avenue, Waipahu, Kaneohe, Kauai. Everyday low prices. The hottest toys of the year in landmark toys, like Little Miss Magic Jewel on sale for $27.98. The 3-in-1 Game Center only $189.98. And the 9.6-volt Turbo Hammer Monster Truck, drive it for $79.98. Where can you find the best buys for Christmas? The answer is GEM.
The Honolulu Police Department says Officer Albert Ka'alele is being assigned a desk job while he fights a theft charge. He was indicted just yesterday, accused of stealing $20,000 from the police evidence room. News 4 has learned that the charges against Ka'alele stem from a drug raid 9 years ago that did not result in any prosecutions. News 4's Tina Shelton tells us that raid has actually cost the police department and the taxpayers almost $40,000.
This is the police department's new evidence room, where items from more than 67,000 police reports are currently stored. Back in 1983, after a drug raid in Waipahu, police went to the evidence room, then at the Paua'a station, and submitted a safe that was seized with about $25,000 in cash, some jewelry, and police claimed some cocaine. Then 6 years passed.
My client's money and jewelry was taken. He was never prosecuted. And when he asked for it back after the statute of limitations ran, it wasn't there.
Not only was the drug case never prosecuted, but with the property missing, taxpayers last year had to pay $37,000 to Brookhart's client. No one currently in the Vice Division can remember why the drug case was never pursued.
There are errors made as a result of negligence, and there are errors made because somebody's not being honest. And that's what a jury will have to decide.
Officer Ka'alele's attorney, Michael Waite, says Ka'alele is an exemplary officer who will plead not guilty to the theft. Back at the evidence room, police say officers can only check out items if those items are headed to court. Because of the case of the missing money, police say they've installed a system to make sure that when evidence leaves the evidence room, someone checks to make sure it arrives where the person checking it out said it was going. Tina Shelton, News 4.
A company in Honolulu may be fined by the city for starting up a business without a conditional use permit. Stay & Sons is a firm that wants to treat fuel-contaminated soil, a business that would be the first of its kind in Hawaii. Inspectors from the State Health Department took samples from piles of dirt that the company hauled in this week. While the firm has a state permit to start building its facility, it doesn't have the necessary city permits. It's unclear whether the owner also faces additional state sanctions. That may depend on how contaminated the soil is. Results of the sampling won't be known for about a week.
A Greek tanker on its way to a Spanish port ran aground in high seas today, spilling millions of gallons of crude oil. That tanker, the Aegean Sea, split in two and was rocked by a series of explosions, setting it and the surrounding water on fire. All 29 crewmen aboard the 830-foot tanker were rescued. This is the third major oil spill to hit that region, known for its rich fish and coastal wildlife. Officials say this spill is not on the scale of the Exxon Valdez, but the cleanup is expected to run in the millions of dollars. Well, don't go away. You're going to miss tonight's Kaimuki Christmas Parade and the newly formed, soon-to-be world-famous Doggy Drill Team. That's not them there.
That definitely wasn't. The Rainbow basketball team tips off their season. Robert has highlights coming up.
Sir, need your lawn mowed? Mow your lawn? I'll never be able to afford any Christmas presents.
At $4.99, you can't afford to miss Charlie Brown's new Christmas video, only at Shell.
Wash your car, sir? Dear Santa, don't think me ungrateful, but skip the practical gifts, like socks and stuff.
Try Charlie Brown's all-new Christmas video, only $4.99, only at Shell.
Thanks, but I already have 3 toothbrushes.
Right, Santa. There are lots of Marsh furniture deals at the Just-in-Time for Christmas sale. This Carlton double incliner sofa, folks might have seen a comparable model at $11.89 or even $9.99, but is marked at $5.99 for the Just-in-Time for Christmas sale. Or how about 2 recliners for only $5.99 or a queen-size Reno sofa bed for $5.99?
It's true.
See all the furniture deals at Marsh at the Just-in-Time for Christmas sale.
This portion of the news is brought to you by 2 great tastes, RC Cola and Diet Right, available at your favorite supermarket.
The Board of Education tonight held its first public meeting since inducting its 2 newest members a little earlier this week. Dr. Robert Fox and businessman Lex Brody were the new board members attending tonight's meeting, led by newly elected chairwoman Debbie Hartman and school superintendent Charles Taguchi. The board listened to requests and petitions from concerned parents and citizens and approved request for legislative action, which will be submitted to the legislature legislature in January.
The Honolulu Marathon's Board of Directors has decided it will not allow wheelchair racers in the December 13th event. A group of wheelchair racers had hoped the board would change its mind. The two sides held a marathon meeting last night that lasted until 1 in the morning. Despite the effort, race officials felt the safety of the running competitors would be compromised if the wheelchairs raced. The attorney for the wheelchair racers, Lunsford Phillips, says if called upon, he will seek an injunction to stop the marathon. Marathon officials say they expected a court challenge when the decision was made to exclude the wheelchairs.
Thanks, Hawaii, for buying RC and Diet Right Cola.
The one great sale is at Scandinavian Gallery this week. Scandinavian Gallery is #1 in selection of contemporary home furnishings. The one great sale is #1 in savings. Get this teak wall unit for just $4.95. This queen-size teak platform bed for just $3.95. This leather chair and ottoman just $6.95. Plus, make no monthly and no interest payments for 90 days. Scandinavian Gallery is the one for contemporary home furnishings. Get to the one great sale this week.
This season, when you buy a KFC holiday meal, I'll give you a coupon book worth up to $75 on select Mattel toys.
Enjoy the KFC Hawaii holiday meal. 8 pieces of delicious chicken with all the trimmings, just $10.99. Or get 12 pieces of chicken. Or a 30-piece bucket of hot wings for the same great price. The holiday meal deals, worth over $75 in savings at Toys R Us or your local Mattel retailer. From Lake Edna to Hawaii,
Happy holidays!
Experience the power of femininity. Oscar de la Renta.
This gift of eau de toilette, body lotion, body polisher, soap, powder, and puff is yours with any $40 Oscar de la Renta fragrance purchase. Available at Liberty House.
Al's out for justice.
There's jerks out there everywhere suing for nothing.
He hit me, Dad.
Who's suing?
Tonight at 10:30.
Okay, the Christmas season is here, and
Yeah.
we're going to be seeing a whole lot of parades.
Yeah, a lot of them. There was one tonight in Kaimuki. It's their annual Christmas parade. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. The weather was pretty good, not too bad. There was marching bands and good fun. The kids were lighting the street. It's that time of year, you know, when everybody gets out to celebrate and to look for that. Who are they? Look, not the Icy Bear. I think
Icy
it's
the
Santa
Bear?
Claus. Is it Icy Bear they went
Santa
for?
Bear, maybe. I don't
Santa
know.
Bear.
Oh.
Or
Mac the Knight.
Mac the McDonald's guy. I don't know who he is, and all kinds of wild characters were there. Now, in particular, there were a group of dogs, and again, this is not the dogs. We showed you. My God, my timing is off tonight. 1, 2. Okay, dogs. Where are the dogs? There were dogs there. The doggy drill team, and they did a drill team routine there. The dogs did. Apparently not in front of our cameras. Where's the dogs? We do have some dogs, don't we? I guess not.
They were cute.
Dadgummit,
We saw
they
that
were.
earlier. They had little reindeer
Reindeer things on their head?
things on their head.
Take our word for it, okay? There were dogs there. They were cute, all right? But you're going to have to take our word. Oh, man. Let's go to the island of Kauai, where things are not so cute. As a matter of fact, they're pretty doggone wet there. There's a flash flood warning for Princeville, Honolulu, and Haiena. Did you get the doggone joke there? The north coast has had some steady, heavy rainfall all day. The Honolulu Bridge is impassable because of rising waters. The Anahola area is starting to see some flooding there as well. And I think the Red Cross has actually opened up a shelter at the Anahola Elementary School. And it's all because of this same system that's been in town for a week, it seems like, and it actually probably has been a week. It is sitting here just to the west and actually over parts of Kauai. You'll see it as we take a closer look. Earlier in today, there was some thunderstorm activity out to the west. Well, this has kind of deepened, and it moved over the island itself and brought some very heavy showers there all day. Now, where the gauges are located on the island of Kauai, less than an inch in an hour, but you see the buildup here to the north side of Kauai. That's the heavy showers, but other spots, I'm sure they're getting at least an inch an hour because they are having very heavy runoff there on the North Shore. There is no end in sight. Looks like it may stay with us through the night. So the North Shore of Kauai, if you're in one of those low-lying areas, you may not get much sleep tonight. Be aware that flooding is imminent in your area. 75 degrees, northeasterlies at 8 miles an hour. The high today 85, 69 the low. And we were the hot spot in the state along with Kahului, Maui. 82s on the Big Island. 76 as warm as it got there up on the Wheeler base today. Let's look at the map for tomorrow. We'll see that those trade winds are going to start to pick up. We're going to be 15 to 25 tomorrow, and we'll see quite a bit of showers scattered in with the sunshine. There's some pretty wet weather upstream. It's going to come in tomorrow with those more brisk trade winds. Looking at the mainland, heavy snow is expected in the Colorado Rockies and throughout a lot of the southwest, the mountain areas, as much as a foot of snow. Only 18 in Denver, showers in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, let me get out of the way here, also in Atlanta and Dallas. Big weather system down here, windy weather in the Windy City. Let's come back home now for our forecast. Showery, mainly windward and Mauka areas, and that, of course, definitely true for the island of Kauai. A flash flood warning still in effect there. The trade's 5 to 15 tonight. They'll kick up tomorrow to 15 to 25. On Oahu, passing showers mixed with sunshine tomorrow, and then the surf started to come up today, and it's going to be in that 4 to 8 foot range tomorrow, north and west, maybe even higher. No marine warnings in effect at the moment, but when the winds come up, guaranteed you're going to see some out there. So Kauai residents beware, North Shore in particular, heavy showers continuing through the night.
All right, Robert joins us now with sports, and we got to see the basketball Bows play tonight, but it wasn't exactly what we wanted to see.
Not so good news. In sports, in the NBA, Sean Kemp was flying high. The Rainbows basketball team held its season opener. An update from the NAIA Women's National Volleyball Tournament Thursday night in the NFL, and lots more after this timeout.
Timeout, sponsored by Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now.
Well, we're fairly healthy. We think most people will be available, but Tulsa game was a real physical game, and it's been a long season. We played a lot of games back to back, and it's taken its toll. We got quite a few bumps and bruises. I mean, Pitt in the Big East, they recruit well. They have their share of good football players. They could do anything. It's an interim coaching situation, which makes it a little scary also. You just got to remember now, they have the fourth all-time quarterback in NCAA history, a guy that's won a lot of games, thrown a lot of balls, completed a lot of them, obviously. Receivers averaging 20 yards a game. I mean, they have good athletes.
It's a refreshing taste from a cold, cold place. Yeah, it's easy going down from the very first round. Pure as can be, it's a natural, you see. Wow. It's smooth, smooth, silver bullet smooth. Yeah, well, that's our story. Now it's your call. Cold Coors Light is the right beer now. That's all. Bye-bye.
Pizza Hut wants you to share in the magic of Walt Disney's newest video classic, Beauty and the Beast. Now your kids can collect Beast, Belle, Chip, and Cogsworth. Each puppet's $1.49 with any pizza purchase. And when you buy the video at your local video store, you get the Pizza Hut value card for great pizza values. So experience the fantasy of Beauty and the Beast, now with Pizza Hut.
Once again, it will happen. Someone will pick out a tree that's too big for the room, drop off some warm clothes, light the candle on the third night, experiment with the turkey baster, watch all 18 bowl games, and someone will sing slightly off key with all her heart. Happy holidays from Bank of America.
I'm Jerry Nutt. I work for the distribution department at Hawaiian Electric.
They're going to hold a field board meeting at 7 at Honolulu.
Just for one job, it takes at least 30 people to arrange it. So there's no special. It's sort of a camaraderie thing. You know, when you work electricity.
Field tonight versus the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa. Going in, UH head coach Riley Wallace had some concerns like, was his team ready? The answer he found out, no. Bulls were shaky early, but did get this fast break bucket by Tim Shepard, 2 of his 16 points. Tulsa got this by Jody Huffman at the half, 30-30. Off the Bulls bench, Chris Wald netted a team-high 18. Gary Collier had 18 for Tulsa. Their high man was this guy coming up, Jeff Malman. The persistent one dropped in 20. Let them go at it. In the end, Tulsa won it by 5. The score to start the Bulls 0-1, 68-63. On the Big Island, High Five America walked all over UH Hilo, 101-79. And in top 25 college action, 15th ranked Oklahoma, they held off OSU, number 20 Tulane, took out Nichols State. Dan, there were dogs there, right?
There were dogs there, I promise.
There were dogs in that parade. The NAIA National Women's Volleyball Tournament is underway in San Diego after one day of pool play. Top seed BYU Hawaii is 3-0. They blasted Elon College, St. Francis, and Puget Sound. Meantime, second seed UH Hilo is 2-1. They beat West Virginia Wesleyan and Western New Mexico, but lost to host Point Loma 15-1, 15-2. There was a Thursday night football game. The Saints earned a berth in the playoffs by offing Atlanta. Morton Anderson nailed this, his 5th field goal of the game with 1:56 to play to make it 15-14 New Orleans. Then a minute to play. Toy Cook on his 28th birthday. He picked Wade Wilson and returned it 48 yards for the score. The final, watch him take it in, 22-14. Falcons are out of the playoffs. Some numbers from the NBA. Mark Price was right for 25 for Cleveland. The Bullets banged the Bucks. The Jazz got 19 from Jeff, 16 from Karl Malone, and Sam Perkins, 21 points, 13 boards, 5 assists, led the Lakers. The Magic and the Clippers, former LSU mates, met up again. Shaquille O'Neal blocked Stanley Roberts. Shaq ended up with 26, Roberts 16. The Clippers won. They got 33 points by Ken Norman. And in Seattle, the Sonics dropped Dallas a scare early when Sean Kemp, he got undercut by Doug Smith. It looked a lot worse than it was. Kemp returned to lead a balanced Seattle attack. He poured in a team-high 17. This was the best, but check it out. It did not count. Sean Kemp went up for it, and they called this interference, but interference at its best. Miami Hurricanes quarterback Gino Torretta has won the Walter Camp Player of the Year award as the best college football player, according to Division I coaches across the country. Meantime, Florida State's Marvin Jones won the Lombardi Award tonight, given to college football's best lineman. But he's a linebacker, so go figure. He's a junior and leads the third-ranked Seminoles with 111 tackles. Hawaii's Jason Elam was a finalist for the first ever Lou Groza Award as the best place kicker in college football, but he did not win it. Memphis State's Joe Allison, who's 23 of 25 in field goals and a perfect 32 of 32 in extra points, was given that award today. Fired Colorado State head football coach Earl Bruce ain't going down without a fight. Bruce has taken the matter to court, seeking an injunction to stop the Rams from hiring a successor. Bruce was fired 2 weeks ago for allegedly physically and mentally abusing his players. The Ohio chapter of the NAACP slammed Cincinnati Reds owner Marge Schott tonight, refusing to accept her apologies for her alleged racial statements towards blacks and minorities in her business. They went on the record saying they want Schott out.
The NAACP did not accept apologies from Judge John J. Parker, Robert Bork, the Westin Hotel, the Clarion Hotel, Al Campanis, or Jimmy the Greek Snyder. Nor do chickens accept apologies from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Get that? A couple of baseball notes. The Seattle Mariners signed former Milwaukee pitcher Chris Bosio, a 16-game winner last year, to a 4-year, $15 million contract. Robin Yount has re-signed for his 20th season with the Milwaukee Brewers. And shortstop Spike Owen has left Montreal, signing a 3-year, $7 million deal with the New York Yankees. An Ohio federal judge ruled in favor of 400-meter world record holder Butch Reynolds today, awarding him $27.3 million, $6.8 million in possible earnings lost, $20.5 million in punitive damages. Reynolds' beef is with the governing body of track and field, the IAAF, which banned Butch for 2 years for alleged steroid use. Reynolds has said all along that he was clean and that testing used was not accurate. The next problem, collecting his money from the London-based IAAF because they say they don't recognize rulings made in U.S. courts.
The biggest thing to Butch Reynolds now is my reputation, my name, and my ability to run again. And I'm just happy that they gave me that ability to to run, and of course the course have found them my favorite as well.
So who knows if you'll ever smell any of that money.
And there were dogs in that parade.
And there were dogs in the
Lots
parade.
of them.
Are you sure?
Cute dogs. Thanks for being with us tonight. Cynthia Yip will be up bright and early with you as you get ready for work, 6:25 and 7:25. Then join Pamela Young and Gary Sprinkle tomorrow afternoon for News 4 at 5.
Have a good evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 10. Aloha.
But were there pooper scoopers?
I don't know.